Hello and welcome. I have taken a few moments during the warmest days of our Swedish summer to share my knitting, spinning and sewing projects with you. In these peaceful days between the chaos of spring and the rush of harvesting and preparing for winter, I tend to find myself drawn once more to these calm and quiet crafts. Although of course they are an important part of my life, even during the more busy times of the year. This was filmed during the middle of July. However, with it being my first ever video, it took a while to edit and then gather the courage to actually post it. My hope is that you will find a sense of calm and perhaps even some inspiration in this first episode of my knitting podcast. Thank you for joining me. It does feel very weird talking to a camera, but I'm just trying to imagine actually talking to another person. Perhaps someone who likes to spin and knit as I like to do. Someone who wants to make as much as he can by hand and who doesn't mind at all the massive amount of time it takes. For me it's a lot of the value of it is in the time that it does actually take, when you're preparing your wool and spinning yarn and then knitting a sweater. It's lovely. The reason I am making this is because I've been watching podcasts for years, and it is a very valuable way for me to connect with people who live their lives in a way that I aspire to, or perhaps even a way I'm actually living it right now. But it does not really allow for me to share the things that I'm making, and I do feel like I have perhaps something to share as well, something to say. So I'm trying to do this right now. And I hope you will enjoy hearing about the things I've been knitting and the things I've been spinning, and even something I've sewn, which is a new thing. Over these last few weeks I've been knitting more again. It's every year, May and June are just so busy because we have a rather large vegetable garden and you're out planting and preparing the garden, and it's just, when the snow's finally gone, you want to do everything, and I just don't have the time to knit those months, or not the inclination. I could make the time, but I just don't want to. I want to be outside, I want to soak in the sun. And then when July comes around and midsummer's come and gone, then I really feel drawn to just taking a bit more time to sit and knit and take it easy. podcast fashion, let's start with what I'm wearing right now, which is not something I've knit. It is very, very rare that I'm not wearing something I've knit myself. It's like a handful of days a year, but it's been so warm lately that I just can't. I'm not even wearing hand knit socks. It just never happens. But I am wearing something I've made. This is my first sewing project that actually turned out good enough to wear. But it's a hinterland dress by So Liberated, and I will talk about it more later on in the video, because I want to start with knitting. And the first work in progress I have to show you is this Book Club cardigan by Sari Nordlund, knit in Rauma finull. I hope you can see it. It's got these beautiful cables. This is the first time I've knit such an involved cabling project, and I have been working on this since December, on and off. I usually don't put down a project for that long, but I started spinning last autumn, and I've just been obsessed. And then obviously once I'd actually spun my first sweater spin, I really, really wanted to knit the sweater. And then I knit a sweater for someone else, and then it's just been put down for a while. But I picked it up again recently because I do really want to finish it. Obviously not for this kind of weather, but autumn will come soon enough. I didn't do the double knit bottom band as is described in the pattern, because I have knit one like traditional V-neck cardigan before, but I don't feel myself when I'm wearing it, so I don't actually wear it. It also has a V-neck, but because of the I-cord edging, I hope you can see that. You can, I think. Because of the I-cord edging, I am going to wear it open, and I think that will be more. I will feel more comfortable in it. I haven't blocked it yet. It is currently off the needles. I just have one more sleeve to go. But the problem is that this is all the yarn I have left, which is not enough. It took about one full ball of yarn, and then the rest of this, and then what I had left over after finishing the body. So I'd say about 2 balls of yarn to finish this sleeve. It's not, obviously because of the dropped shoulder, you don't have that much to knit, but it's still, this is not going to be enough. Which is a bit unfortunate, because I don't really want to order yarn right now. I'm going to take this off because it's way too warm. Especially not, I'm currently really excited about spinning my own yarn and then knitting sweaters from that. And I'm not that interested in buying commercial yarn. And I'm also not a fan of just having a bunch of yarn lying around, not using it. So I'm going to pay shipping for 2 balls of yarn. But that's fine. It happens sometimes. It is what it is. The color of this, I'm not sure how well you can see it. It's beautiful. I think it's called melange in English, where they have different. Can you see it? No, probably not. Different colors of the natural wool, which they then dye. I believe that's how it's made. I'm not too sure, but that's what it looks like. So it's a beautiful deep color and not just flat, and that's I really like it. It's also very lofty and airy. It's about worsted weight, I think, like 4.5 millimeters. So I believe I knit this in 4 millimeters. So this is very dense and sturdy, and it's going to be really nice in autumn once I do actually finish it. the next thing I wanted to show you is this work in progress, which is also a sweater. I hope you can see the texture, I think so. This is the Dryad sweater by Calediona Dreamin, and it's knit in campus, tvåtrådigt, so campus 2-ply, in one of the bright greens. It's very bright. I bought this yarn in a store in the spring, and I always get a bit flustered in stores. So I'm worried that it's a bit bright for me, but at the same time I have a purple sweater in this yarn which is also very bright, which I had the same concerns about it, and I wear it all the time because the yarn is lovely. It's a really lightweight sweater, which is lovely normally in the summer here. Not really these days when it's like 30 degrees, but normally it's quite cold. And I do wear it. I do wear wool year round. So I will wear it. It softens up wonderfully. There's no itch for me. So I will most likely wear it a lot. Anyways. And I really love the pattern. I think it has this beautiful texture on the sleeves all the way down. And then you get a bit of a puffy sleeve by heavy increasing at the start of the run because you knit it bottom up. I cast the body on with a professional cast on, so I can later go back and pick up the stitches and knit at least that part top down. When I was knitting this, I was quite... when I started this project, I was quite... I just really didn't want to think. I just wanted to knit. So I probably could have made the conversions and knit it top down, which I do prefer to knit, because then I just don't know when to stop knitting a sleeve when I knit it bottom up. But with the texture, I just guessed it will be fine. And then in the center, on the front, you have this beautiful V that you create with the texture, which then comes together with the texture on the sleeves in these raglan decreases. I really think the pattern is very pretty. And then it's mirrored on the other side. The back is... Oei. That was my bobbin, which I will show you later. The back you knit in plain stockinette, because there the texture runs parallel to the raglan decreases. I hope the gap, there is no stitch in between, which obviously creates a bit of a gap, but this yarn does bloom quite a bit, so I'm hoping it will fill out a little bit. You notice it a bit more on camera than what I do in real life, so we'll see. Yeah, I am knitting this on 4mm needles, I believe. I've dropped a bunch of stitches. And I can't wait to have it finished and wear it. Then the final knitting work in progress that I'm going to show you is this vest, which is the cutting edge vest by Ailbíona. I think you say Ailbíona McLochlainn. She is one of my all-time favorite designers. I've knit a sweater from her, which I wear all the time in winter. I think it's the drop sweater. And then I knit another sweater from that pattern for my boyfriend, which I also wear. He wears all the time as well, because just the neckline, all the it's just the fit of her sweaters. I really like it. The details, it's just correct. However, this is a bit of a weird one, because this is knit in handspun, It is Värmland's wool, which the color is gorgeous. You can see it quite well, I think. It's a bit darker. Like that, I think. But it does have these long... I think it's called guard hairs. It's the same that the Lättloppy yarn has, I think. You can see it about. So it's quite prickly. And then also it's really thick yarn. I've started spinning last autumn, and then I spun. Obviously at first you have no clue what you're doing, so it's thick, thin, it's all over the place. And then I started getting in the groove, and I spun quite thin yarn. But this wool I wanted originally to use for the Calediona stick season cardigan, which requires a bit thicker yarn. So I tried to spun a bit thicker, but then because I was just beginning, and you just have no control when you're starting out with spinning. I had no control. Perhaps other people are better than me, but I didn't have much control. So it became very thick and very heavy, which is fine. But now I didn't have that much meterage, so a cardigan was out of the question, and I decided to knit this vest instead, just to try see if I even like vests as well, because I don't normally wear it, and I thought I might wear it with dresses like this. And then the idea was to pick up for ribbing here and then knit it quite cropped. But it's because I'm way off gauge, and this is just it's a bit of a weird project for me. It's quite white, which I don't mind, but I just don't have that much yarn left. So we'll see. And it's also quite prickly, so I'm not sure when I would wear it, because it's thick and warm and prickly. And I notice wool when it's... I am not sensitive to wool, but I'm more sensitive when it's in the summer than in the winter. In the winter I don't care for... I just don't notice it. I can wear Lättloppy without much problems. But in the summer, obviously there are a lot of mosquitoes and you're itchy, and it's a different thing. So I'm not sure. I could spin more. I was thinking of spinning more dark grey yarn and then doing like a color work band and then the ribbing, and then I would have something wearable. But that would mean trying to recreate this yarn, which is thick and heavy, which I'm not sure I can do right now, because I'm just not sure. So we'll see. I'll try to finish it and then just see if I can wear it. I could also seam up this bit and cut it out maybe, and then I'd have less circumference to knit for the rest of it, and just neaten up this edge, which I see is a bit, and then just leave it without ribbing at all, because obviously ribbing takes a bit more yarn. Maybe. Right now I just steeked it so I could at least try it on, because I thought I'm not going to knit anything else from it, and I'm just going to see, but it's way too warm for it now. So I think, yeah, that were all the knitting works in progress that I have to show you. I'm not going to show you any finished objects right now, because I haven't finished anything recently, and I think if this is something I want to continue doing, I will just show you what I finish. When I finished one of these projects, I'll show you the next time, and then we'll go from there. Maybe I'll share some of my older finished projects. I'll probably wear them. I wear my knits a lot, so you'll see them then. What I wanted to move on to now is my spinning, because I'm currently spinning this yarn, which is gorgeous. It's really soft, especially compared to that one. This is brown, natural brown finull. It's just, oh, I really like spinning it. Here you see the bobbin I'm currently working on, which is nearly full. And this is what I've already spun. I have about, once I finish this bobbin, I'll be about halfway through the wool I have left over. I bought a kilogram of this brown finull. It was already washed but not prepared yet. So it came like, sorry for the creaking. It came like this. And I've been carding it and then spinning it on my new Kromsky Sonata, which I got about a month ago. So yeah, and it will be, once I'm done, I'm hoping I'll have enough yarn to knit a sweater for my boyfriend, which will be the, I think you say Silly Guernsey sweater by the Raw Wool Company. It's a lovely sweater with texture on the yoke and then a bit further down, and I think one band of texture on the sleeves, and then otherwise it's a drop shoulder sweater. I think it will be lovely to knit. This yarn is spun quite fine because he really wanted a more lightweight sweater to wear more during the colder summer weather, not the summer weather we're having right now. So yeah, I'm hoping I'll have enough. I think so, but I first need to spin it and then I can count it and then we'll see. I thought I'd talk a bit about my spinning in general. I started this autumn when I was lucky enough to be able to borrow a spinning wheel from a neighbor. I'm saying neighbor, it's several kilometers away, but I'm living in the countryside, there aren't many people here. And that was lovely. And at first it was quite frustrating because spinning it takes time to learn. It took time to learn, for me at least. And just to get the motions, to know how to draft, to not have it break, to not have it be thick and thin, and that took a bit of time. But then once you're proficient enough that you don't have to think all the time anymore, it's so meditative, and I just really love doing it. I've become completely obsessed, and that resulted in me last month buying my own spinning wheel, which is a Kromsky Sonata, which has, the spinning wheel I got to borrow was a Ashford Traveller. I think a decently old model, with just the one anyway, I got to borrow a rather old model of the Ashford Traveller, and now I have my own Kromsky Sonata, which spins like a dream. It's so easy. It's just, it feels like it goes in and of itself, that I don't actually have to do anything. And I thought what I'd show you was some of the yarn I've spun, which is also probable plan for the future, and that is this yarn. Ooh. It looks quite pretty on camera. And which I wanted to combine with this. I have quite a bit more of it. My thought was to do to knit a, I think it's Junction sweater by Dryad, the colorwork brioche colorwork yoke sweater with then the fleece stitch, is that what you call it? The dots on the sleeves and the body. I think it's on the sleeves and the body. I do think I have enough yarn for it, because I have quite a bit of this and then 100 grams of this, but it's quite fine, so that should be fine. This one is a bit thicker. I spun this later on, so this is definitely better yarn. This is a bit loosely spun, I think, and also a bit more uneven. Also just because this was it might have been merino or corriedale, at least it was top spanned, while this was carded fiber, so this just had more nature in it. But yeah, that's my plan. If you have any thoughts, whether that's a good idea or whether I should try to knit another sweater, then I'd be happy to hear. Then the last thing to talk about is this hinterland dress that I've sewn. It's, as I said, one of the, it is the first project I've ever sewn that I can actually wear. I've tried before. I've tried a long time and it's just been difficult to learn sewing. I found it with knitting, when something goes wrong you just pull on it and you can start again. With sewing, once you've cut it, there's no going back. Obviously you can seam rip, which I've done a lot of for this project. I first, when I first made it, the bodice I thought was a bit too short, about like this much too short, and then I tried to lengthen it with just a strip around the waist, but that made it way too bulky and I didn't like the way it looked. Thankfully I had enough fabric left over that I could cut another bodice, though I had to, I don't think you can see that, maybe. I had to seam the back piece, which is fine. And now it looks, I'm a lot happier with it this way. I also, obviously since it is one of my first projects, that was the first time I did bias binding on the neck, and the first time it came out quite wonky and just not that pretty, and then now for this one I took my time, I followed a YouTube tutorial and it looks way better. Yeah, I'm quite happy with it. It's a bit busy, perhaps for my taste, the fabric, which you just never know. When you look at the fabric it looks pretty, but you never know what it looks like on, or I don't. It takes a lot of time for me to be in a craft to be able to envision the actual finished project. But I'm really happy with it anyway, especially since it's been so warm lately that I'm really happy that I've actually got to wear something I've made myself, even through the warmer weather. And hopefully over time I can move towards bettering so my sewing skills as well, so I can have a mostly handmade wardrobe. I really like that. I'm not gonna throw out anything I bought just because I didn't make it, but over time I will transition to having made it myself, I think. Yeah. I'm not sure if I have much else to talk about, actually. I hope you enjoyed seeing my projects and listening to me talk about them. I hope you enjoyed the clips I filmed in the garden and when I was spinning. And then maybe I will see you next time.